It should pop up in a second. All right. Hey, Falcons. So again, this is Mrs. Abdul, and we are continuing our retrospective visiting authors that have visited Albany High School. And so joining us now is Jackie Morse Kessler. She was our 2013 author visit. So we're going to dive in and then also Teen ReaderCon, if anybody enjoyed Teen ReaderCon. So we're asking a couple questions and checking in. So Jackie, tell us what you have been doing since 2013 and our author visit.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. It's wonderful seeing you. I hope everyone's doing really, really well as we can right now. I have been busy, although it hasn't been with writing books. I wound up changing jobs, and now I'm a marketing and communications manager. And I'm also very active in a group called Toastmasters. So a lot of my writing lately is speech writing and presentation writing. And I have to admit, while it might not seem like it's as much fun as writing novels, it's a different kind of storytelling. And I also get to work with people who are trying to figure out how to tell the stories they want to tell for different audiences. So there's mostly that. I have also been starting to noodle around with a couple of different story ideas. I'm still waiting for the right one that captures my attention so much that I can't sleep without thinking about it. And not quite there yet, but I do have a few ideas.
Can you talk a little bit about Toastmasters for anybody that would be interested? I know I hear it, but I will admit that I know nothing about Toastmasters.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for asking. Toastmasters is all about helping people become more comfortable with public speaking and with delivering speeches that you prepare, as well as just learning how to get more comfortable just talking to people. You know, sometimes when you ride in an elevator, if you remember what it's like riding in elevators, I've been kind of locked up in my house lately. But, you know, sometimes if you get into an elevator and like your teacher gets in with you and they say, so, how have you been? What have you been up to lately? And sometimes you might get a little tongue tied, like, I don't know what to say. So Toastmasters helps us both with thinking about prepared speeches and presentations, impromptu talking and speaking, and also some leadership skills and abilities. So maybe we might not necessarily be the ones presenting. We might be the ones helping the presenters and organizing it and getting people to work together. And you might have heard the phrase, it's like herding cats. Have you ever tried to force a bunch of cats to do the same thing? So it's learning how to do that. And a good friend of mine thinks of Toastmasters like this. Toastmasters doesn't make the butterflies we all get in our stomach when we get nervous, doesn't really make those butterflies go away, but it does help us learn how to get those butterflies to fly in formation.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
Me
Well,
too,
I'm
which is
thinking
why
about
I
it. I
stole
mean,
it.
yeah. So, I mean, 2013 was seems like a very long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you sat in front of, hundreds of our Falcons and talked about, writing and what that process is like. Like, so did you already have your butterflies in formation at that time? Or do you think that that was something as you were doing school visits and talking about even your adult novels to adult audiences that, like how did that go for you?
Oh, I was utterly terrified. When I first started going to visit schools and going on different conventions for writers and for readers, I used to get really, really horrifically nervous. And the first convention I went to back in 2000 something, my kids, who were really little at the time, they were 4 and 6, they made me a good luck barf bag. Though, because they were 4 and 6, they spelled it good luck bath bark. So I still have it. It's a paper bag that they decorated unused. But yeah, I got really, really nervous. And I would put on my game face, and do it. But it was really hard for me to enjoy myself, especially as I was first getting started, because I was so nervous. And what I've found through Toastmasters and practicing and really being with a lot of people who give great feedback, that it's been a great experience. And now I really enjoy doing public speaking and working with others to help them get ready for it. So when I came to Albany High School a couple of years ago, yes, I was still nervous. That was before I started working in Toastmasters. But something that I found was really helpful is all the students there were just so much fun to be with. And I remember I was wearing a Green Day shirt. I think I was wearing a button-up shirt, and the Green Day shirt was underneath it. And because I was so nervous, it got kind of hot, and I kind of opened up my shirt. And one of the students said, "You like Green Day?" And I said, "Yeah, they're one of my favorites." And then we just kind of talked about some of our favorite stuff from Green Day. And if I remember correctly, she said to me, "I didn't know that authors like the same music I do." Like, yeah, we even put together soundtracks as we start writing. And anyway, one of the things that made it really enjoyable for me is that everyone at Albany High was just so friendly, and that made it easier. I realized I didn't have to be nervous. I could just talk and be me, and that helped a lot.
And I love that you brought up that story because that is the story that I remember most. I remember the girl turning around afterward and said, "We were talking about t-shirts and music." So like I love that you remember that story because that is the story that I remember from that. So that's the best. And so as we finish up, basically my last question to all of the authors that we're speaking with is, since we're doing this kind of mini celebration, but we're not really doing it together, what do you do before COVID and certainly like even now to celebrate? How do you celebrate? What do you do? What do you love celebrating about?
I think for me, the big thing about celebration is being with the ones that I love being with. Before COVID, that meant getting together at friends' houses. About 20 or so of us would get together. And yeah, even people who are old like to get together and do that. Though I might not stay up as late. I might have to nap a little bit first. But getting together and just being with people and laughing, telling stories. In times of COVID, we still do that, but we do that via Zoom. Every Saturday night, there's a group of us. We call ourselves the Five Families. So there's a group of about a dozen of us that we get together via Zoom every Saturday night. And we just catch up on how the week's been. And we like having weekly celebrations because you know what? It's all about enjoying the people we're with and what's not to celebrate them.
I love that. That's the best. Well, thank you so much for having taking the time to like have a conversation about your visit way back when. But it's so good to catch up with you too. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It was wonderful catching up with you. Thank you.